Hi guys. So today it's a little bit different today. I did a survey, right, where I asked approximately 20 drivers, 20 riders, why they are not using the Bolt app. Now I did this survey at a time when I was either using the Uber app or the InDrive app or the Ride app. You know, just as soon as I get to pick up the customer, I strike up a conversation and then I'm asking like, what is up? Like, why didn't you use the Bolt app for this your trip? Do you understand? So I got some pretty interesting answers and I thought I should share this. Now I compiled all of it into some headings and subheads. So number one, the person said the reason why they are not using the Bolt app was the drivers are always asking me to go offline. And it was a lady, by the way. And she was like, this is something that she finds concerning because it's a security concern for her. It's a security issue for her. Now, on the Uber app, you may have noticed, if you're using the Uber app, that they have a lot of promotions going on, quite wonderful, attractive promotions. So a lot of the drivers want to go online, get as many rides as they must in order to complete said promotion and get the reward for that promotion. So they're not always eager to go offline, as opposed to the Bolt app. The promotions are not so great, so it just feels like get the much that you can as much as you can. Okay, so that was her own problem. She just found it to be a security concern that somebody wants to go offline at a time in a country like ours where we are actually concerned about security and, you know, kidnapping or whatever. She doesn't want to go offline, so this is why she's on Uber. She booked me on Uber. And then the next person, this person was a guy. He said the driver wanted to change the price on the app. Okay, now his narration was this. He landed at the airport, the Abuja airport, and then he went to the boat stand. He booked a boat, and the moment they drove out of the area, the boat stand, the taxi area basically, the driver said to him, was even an elderly man, he said the person was much older than him. He said to him, I'm not going to go for that price that's on the app. You will have to add something more for me, right? Now, he said he got agitated. He was angry by the approach, okay? He can understand if a person is like basically making an appeal to say, add something for me, right? But this dude was actually arrogant about it. It's almost like it's either you add something or you take, I'm going to take you back. And out of anger, he also was like, you know what, take me back. And the dude actually drove back and dropped him back at the taxi stand. And then he got another person. So he said it's like they're way too crazy, and so he just sometimes tend to use the Uber app. He find that the drivers there are not as hostile, okay? And then the next one is the person said they're rude generally. Like he just noticed that he books an Uber app, the drivers are always calm. They're not angry. They're not insulting. They're always calm. They want to understand where you are, get to your position. But the boat guys are already screaming over the phone even before they get to you. It's almost like the relationship is just going to be the ride is going to be an awkward one because the relationship is already strained even before you picked me up, right? We're already fighting over the phone. So there's a general rudeness. It was a lady again who, according to this lady, there's a general rudeness with the boat guys than the Uber drivers. Number four, this was also a lady. She said they are not cordial. They seem too harsh. Even when they are not too harsh. Sorry, that was not the word she used. They don't seem polished, okay? It's like she was kind of comparing the boat drivers to tout or the taxi drivers, you know, like streetish and quite rough. And then Uber drivers are more polished, polite, cars are nice, put together, they are more than willing to put on the AC for you. But the Bolt drivers tend to want to fight with you almost pointlessly. Next is, oh yes, this person said, it was a young guy, I didn't even have to ask him. He just came into the car just due to the anger from whatever he experienced. He started to narrate the story to me. Now, he booked me on Uber and then then he was like, bro, what price is on the app? I told him, and then he was like, I just booked a boat guy. It was pretty much the same price. And he said to me, see, I'm taking this trip offline because I know if I ask you to add something for me now, you be saying that you don't have money or something like that. This was literally how he said it. So he said he felt insulted because the money is quite small. He has no problem adding something, but then the approach was so brutal. Why talk like that? Do you even know who it is you're talking to? Do you know if I have the capacity or not? But why talk like that? So the dude was like, no, I'm not going to go offline and I'm not going to add anything for you. You can drop me if you don't want to go. So he dropped, and that was when he booked me. So he told me the story himself. I didn't even have to ask him. Okay, so it's just like a lesson to everybody. Like, I don't understand why you're rude anyway. Next is okay, this lady said the boat guy accepted her request and then called her and was like, yo, fuel is expensive now. Me, I don't know if I can be going for that same price that you're saying, that you're seeing on the app. Me, I don't. So the lady was like, so why did you accept? If it wasn't okay for you, what are we doing? So she booked on Uber instead. Also volunteered the story. Didn't even have to ask. And then lastly, unavailability of drivers. This was more like a general excuse. People are like, no, I never find anybody on boat. It's like in my area there are no boats, but if I use Uber or InDrive, I used to see drivers, but boat and I used to see drivers now. I think this is testament to the fact that those driver score and acceptance rate have caused a lot of drivers to migrate to either InDrive or boat and or Uber and Rider, because they are consistent defaulters. They can't keep up with those acceptance rate and what driver score. So they just left the app and started using just the Uber, InDrive or Rider. So these are the general list and excuses I found from the riders. There were almost 20, I think 18 or 19 if I'm not counting wrongly. Now this is the one part. Let me tell you another part. Couple of reasons why some drivers don't want to drive on Uber. Weird excuses I got. Like, I'm not making this up, I'm not paraphrasing. This is literally what some drivers told me as the reason why they're not driving on Uber. Because I myself started on Bolt, mind you. I started with Bolt and I was using Bolt for the longest time, and then I started to use Uber. I just kind of loved the interface. The user interface of that app was nice. It was calming. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was nice. Anyway, so I asked this one guy, he's like, Uber doesn't have any money now. What does Uber has? Uber is just one big name, just nothing. There's nothing in Uber. I couldn't get him to explain why he said that. Okay, I don't know, maybe he's getting more bonuses on Bolt at the time. This was like a year or two or year and a half back or something that this person said this. So probably that was his own reason, but I couldn't get him to explain. He just said Uber has no money, so I'm guessing that he didn't get a lot of promotion at the time. And then another person said that there are no customers on Uber. There are no riders on Uber. Basically, he has the app on, but it seems like the Bolt app is beeping more than the Uber app. So why am I even using this app? Nobody's using it. What's the point being there? So that was his excuse. Again, this was a while back. Okay, this was not recent, so I'm guessing it's possible their answers may change if it's now. Okay, so these were the two major answers I got for people who were not on Uber. The rest were just not there because there was no need. Both was serving them, so why go on the other app? So that was it. Then, as for reasons why some drivers are not on, I would say InDrive now, then I'll talk about Rider next. Why they're not on InDrive? They don't like the negotiation. I remember very vividly, I wanted to book InDrive. I was going somewhere at the time. Again, this was a while back. At the time, the distance to that place, at least 3,000 was okay, at least. And then again, the app had this feature a while back where a person can actually bid for less. Like the driver could say, I will take you to this place for lesser than what you're offering. But right now the app doesn't have that feature. So you find that I wanted to go there. I was willing to pay 3,000, but somebody was offering me 2,700 that they would definitely take me there for 2,700. So it felt ridiculous, right? So some drivers had said, how can how can you be on the app when people don't understand the value of the distance and the calculation involved in distance? You're literally running a loss, but then you think you're making money, right? So another reason I also got was that the app doesn't calculate these things properly. The Uber and the Bolt app do a better calculation in terms of the distance and the fare that is right for that distance. So that's why they don't use the InDrive app, perhaps yet. And then for the rider, well, I really didn't ask anybody, but I've noticed that some people are using it. But personally, I kind of cut down on using it because the user interface was a tad complicated for me. I didn't get a hang of things, but apart from that, quite frankly, I didn't see the need why. It felt like almost like the InDrive app. So if I was already on InDrive, there's no need being on Rider. So perhaps if I was on Rider first and I got all the customer base and requests, maybe there would have been no need to switch to InDrive. So yeah, that's it for our survey. So perhaps if you fall within any of all these categories of people I mentioned on both, you need Jesus. I'm not even going to tell you to change. You need to repent.